And we are live on the
What's
Elsewhere
that?
podcast with Mesus. I'm checking my screen. Yep, he's over there.
Still here. And
Man, I appreciate you taking the time to come talk to me and talk to us, talk to the community. Just
absolutely.
hang out, have a conversation. You've got stuff coming up soon. You've been doing a lot of things, and we want to talk about all the things. So,
All the things. Let's get it.
by the way, welcome and everybody in the chat. I see you guys there. Appreciate you. If you don't mind, drop a like. I've pinned the his channel at the top pin comment, whatever the heck it's called. So it's there. If you guys, check him out. If you haven't already, where have you been? Um, anyway, but you can see that he is not in his studio. He's outside. It's beautiful out there. It's ridiculous. I'm in the sky.
With bricks, though.
Well, I had to make it a little bit cool. Yeah.
You're like in a castle in the sky.
Yeah, definitely. There's my mom in chat. What's up, mom? Um, definitely
Hey,
not
mom.
not pre-recorded at all. This is unfiltered, unscripted, just whatever comes up comes up. So, if you guys have questions, ask questions.
Anything goes.
Mhm. Pretty much. So, honestly, I just noticed today that you've got something coming out tomorrow.
I do. I have a song, a remix to Kanye. So it's a remix to a remix, I guess, technically, because Eminem did a remix to Use This Gospel by Kanye on the Jesus is King album, I guess. And yeah, I don't know. I heard it and I got it sent to me by like 3 different people within like, I don't know, 15. It was probably 15 minutes. It was weird. Like 3 different people. I didn't even know it was out. I actually haven't even heard all the Jesus King album. I never had heard the original. I heard some of the album, but I didn't hear that song. And they're like, "Yo, Eminem snapped," and he's, talking about Jesus and stuff. So naturally, people sent it to me, I guess, and I checked it out, and I was like, "Oh, that's dope." So I was like, "I think I'm gonna remix that."
Well, I
So
heard
yeah,
your New World Order remix. I thought that
yeah.
was fire. I was like, and it dropped like that.
I actually sat on that. So the story behind that is funny, because I had I was traveling and I recorded that in a studio in Houston. It was my sister was getting married, so I was down in Houston, and I'm like booking a studio with someone I've never met in my life, never recorded with a person, uh, and never been to the studio. And I was like, dude, I got there and I had that song done at like 3 in the afternoon. It was like 4 hours after it was done. It was in my hand, like, and then I sat on it for like until whenever I dropped it. I was like chewing my nails and stuff because I'd known Adam since we were kids, and um, and I was like, dude, I don't know if I should drop this. Like, are they gonna take it the wrong way? And I literally sat on it forever. Like, it felt like for me, because I was like, oh, because that was like one of the coolest parts about it to me is like how quick I turned it around. But some people were like hating like heavy, even after I waited that long. They were like, oh, you just whatever, like you're just trying to clout chase and da da da. And I was like, dude, I actually like shouted them out and gave them a lot of respect and stuff in that song. So I don't know what you're talking about, but what finally made me post it was I was in Houston, like I said, and I was there with my whole family because my sister was getting married, and I'm out, ironically, in a McDonald's parking lot, which is hilarious, and I'm sitting for Wi-Fi with my laptop, and I'm sitting here with the song loaded up. It's been loaded up for hours, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, I don't know if I should drive. I'm looking at my whole family like enjoying dinner, and I'm sitting out and I'm like, "God, I'm being like such a douche right now. I need to just like either post it or not." But so I just closed my laptop and I went in, and I'm eating, and then this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Yo, are you Mesus?" And I was just like, "Yeah, what's up, man?" And I talked to him. He's like, "Oh," I said, "What are you doing?" It was like some little like hood spot in Houston. He's like, "What are you doing in the hood in Houston right now, dude?" And I was like, "I'm eating." I don't know what. And And he's like, oh, he's like, man, I love what you do, man. Keep doing it, bro. Like, and he said something. It was like God like sent him over to me or so. It was so weird because he was just like, he said something that was just like, and as soon as we were done talking, I was like, man, you don't know how bad I need to hear that, bro. And I like literally got back up, went over back to the McDonald's Wi-Fi, and sent it. So it's just funny because people, that was a lot of people like, man, you turned that around so quick. And and like I was like, dude, if y'all even knew, but like I wasn't gonna try to type all that in every comment.
Well, I don't think that. I mean, remixes are meant to they're they're to make a different spin on a song, right? They're not meant to replace the song
Not at
necessarily.
all.
They're meant to like spin it your way, to do it your
Yeah,
way, or to you hear that like those you hear those beats and you're like, oh, I gotta jump on this, and then all of a sudden there's a remix that comes out, and I don't think it's any kind
yeah,
of negative thing now, unless you're like, well, screw you, I do it better, and you can
yeah,
that would be in my opinion, but you did shout them out very.
yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
I listened to it, I actually thought it was great, but by the way,
It
next
was a
time.
nod of respect to me.
Yeah,
9 times out of 10, probably 99 times out of 100, I should say, a remix is a compliment to the original. You know, if
yeah,
you
I thought
want
your
to take
song was so fire that I want to jump on and I want to do my version. Like I heard
you want,
the beat was so fire that I want to jump on and I want to do my version.
there you go. Yeah, that's exactly what it was, and it's just I don't know. It nowadays I think there's this real corny thing that like if somebody has a bigger fan base, um, anytime you mention their name or anytime you this or that, this stupid word that I didn't even know existed until I started getting on this internet stuff. It clout. It's like, dude, what the like, bro? I've been doing remixes. Like that's how I started rapping. I literally started rapping as far as like recording songs on like Mob Deep beats and like Bone Thugs and Harmony beats and like old underground Chicago rappers that most people probably wouldn't even know who the hell I was talking about if I said their names right now. Like I was that's because that's all I could get. I couldn't
Right.
get producers to make beats for me. I had to like go and pray to God that somebody would drop a single with an instrumental on it so I could take the freaking tape. It wasn't even like a CD half the time. I mean, that's how long I've been doing it. So it's like when people think I do a remix to like clout chase somebody or diss them when I like literally don't say anything bad about them at all. It's like it's comical to me.
I
It's
think
just
if
like,
you
bro,
if you
that's
don't say their
I've
name,
loved
it
them.
don't count. If you don't say their name, it
Yeah,
doesn't count. Like if
yeah,
you don't call their name, it don't count. I'm sorry. Like if especially there are people out there that they want to kind of like sneak diss people, and if you want to do that, it doesn't count. Now if you want to, for example, the first song I ever heard of yours was Black and White.
yeah.
So that one, you you put the name in it. You flat out put it out there.
Every time, every time. I've said that so many times to people. I've said if I'm gonna diss you, you're gonna like, you know what I mean. Even I think I said even Stevie Wonder will see that shit. Like it's clear. It's gonna be extremely clear because I don't know. I came from the battle rap era. Like I mean not to say that it ain't. And man, speaking of that Pat Stay shit is such bullshit. But anyways, yeah, I came from the battle rap shit. I used to be huge in the battle rap scene in Chicago, like big time. And all the places, I'd be one of the only white boys there. Like me and my homies, like that was it. And we like, Adam was one of them at the time. We would go up there once in a while together, and it's crazy. Like I I love it. I'm actually doing something. So starting Monday, starting tomorrow, I'm doing something called Mixtape Mondays, and I'm gonna drop a mixtape. I'm gonna drop a remix every Monday until indefinitely. Like I, my goal is at least through the rest of the year. I
No,
want to
that's
drop
awesome.
a
That's
new
awesome.
mixtape.
Because I mean,
So
I like your remixes. Most of the ones that I've heard are, I mean, they're pretty fire, honestly. Because
thank you.
people can take a remix and they can just destroy it. I guess like
Yeah,
they want wall. It's not good.
yeah. Yeah, I hope people rock with what I do tomorrow. I hope I kind of, I don't know. It was cool. I like it. So if no one else likes it, I'll listen to it.
Well, that's the thing is that, and most people don't understand this, and a lot of fans in every aspect and every genre don't get it. But if you like what you're doing and you like what you're putting out and you stand behind the content that you're doing, the songs you're doing, the lyrics that you're writing,
Right.
that's really all that matters. Um,
Yeah, you shouldn't do it if you don't.
exactly, because the
Right?
fans don't have to like it. If you don't like it, there's other people to listen to, there's other songs. I don't like everything everyone does all the time. It makes no sense. Nobody does. By the way, shout out to Wolf7 Music, tip $10. Can't chase clout when you're the one with talent. Numbers are a matter of willingness to play the game, not necessarily a reflection of an artist's talent.
Love it. I agree 100% too.
Thank you, Wolf.
You know,
Shout out to Wolf.
and
He did all my graphics, by the way. He did all my intro.
oh, okay.
He did the short that had all of you and the different songs all
Oh, you snap.
mashed up together. Yeah, he did all that.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's fire, man. That's. I was just talking about that to Tyler. I said, yo, that Tyler was. We were talking. I was like, yeah. He asked if I saw those. I said, absolutely. I shared them. What are you talking about? I definitely saw those. And so yeah, he did his thing. Bless y'all. But yeah, I'm excited to do the remix. That remixes are like to me, it's like open gym for like an athlete, someone who plays a sport. Like I'm a hooper. I love playing ball, and it's like a pickup game. That's what remixes are to me. Because your own song, that's like that's the game. That's that. But like a remix is still in the game. It's not practice. Practice is like maybe freestyling, just sitting in your studio freestyle. That's practice, I would say, or whatever. But like it's like a pickup game to me. Like it's fun. It's just like, oh shit, like this beats. So I'm interested. It always it inspires me and gets me like motivated. So I have a handful or so of remixes, and that's why I felt comfortable doing making that like statement that I'm gonna do it every Monday. 'Cause that's a tall work order. Because on top of that, I'm trying to drop an original song every Friday too.
Wow. Okay.
So that's gonna be, that I didn't want to say that like in stone, like I'm gonna do that. So that's why I haven't said that yet. But like my goal is to do that as well. So, but I have a handful of remixes. Like I got some old ones. Like I did a remix. The song "Radioactive."
Yes.
Radioactive. I have like old stuff from like back in the day that I'm like, you know what? If worst comes to worst and I can't get one done, I should still be able to go in the crates, so to speak, and drop one of those. So hopefully that'll. But
That's
I
definitely one
think
I want to hear. I want to hear that one.
the radioactive one, that one, it's so funny because the sound, my sound has gone through so many different phases. It's funny when I listen to shit like from back then because I think I did that song in like 2013, 14. I don't know. Like it's going back now. So it's my voice was, and I intentionally made my voice kind of weird on that song. On top of that, it was like, wake up, wake up. I kind of like sounded like Bone Thugs and Harmony or something. It was very, very weird.
Well, this is something I say all the time when I
What's up?
talk to people. I talk about my opinion of what music is, and it's like, think of it like a movie throughout your
Mm-hmm.
entire career, and then you take a still of different spots in the movie. It could be the middle, the beginning, the end, wherever. It's a snapshot of what's happening at that time. So the subject matter, the lyrics, the way you sound, how your production level, it's never something to think negatively on. I'm not saying
Mm-hmm.
you are. I'm just saying it's just never something. It's just who you are at that moment. It's a snapshot in time, right? And then
Absolutely.
it keeps going forward, and then you get to where you are now. It does. You don't have to sound like you did then, and you don't have to sound different. It could be anything. I just think that if you just cut it and just take a snapshot of 2013, 2019, you know, it's
Hmm.
just it's just an expression of who you were at that moment, what was going on in your life.
Yeah, I agree. That see, an artist is someone, in my opinion, I guess this is what I would say. Artist is someone who expresses their life through whatever art they make. That's to me like an artist. And so I feel like in a weird little way, like everyone technically can be an artist. Um, but as far as music, like to me, the difference if an artist, like your music will change. Maybe it's not every year, maybe it's not but as you grow, your art should definitely reflect that. Whereas a lot of that's kind of the difference between I think artists and like rappers or whatever, like um, people in the music business. For what I'm talking about, you have music business creators, I guess we'll call it, and then you have artists. There's and I say the same like you said about movies. I say the same thing. It's like you got people like, for instance, Tom Hanks, who is literally a different person in every single movie. Like the guy's like, but then you have like Steven Seagal, who's like literally never been a different person in any movie. You know, and I'm not knocking and saying one's more talented or one's more this or that. I'm just saying they are two definitely different approaches to basically the same job. And I'm definitely like on the artist side of it. So it's funny because people always envy, like they say rappers all want to be like athletes and athletes all want to be rappers. Like that's like the joke. And it's like they always envy. So I kind of envy sometimes like the guy who's just like, shh, because that path goes, you grow so much faster. Because consistency is how you grow, period, no matter what. So if you're an artist and like I make a song called whatever, I made a lot of songs that people were like, man, like because I wear my heart on my sleeve no matter what. So they're like, if they agree wholeheartedly with everything I said, that's oh my god. But God forbid I wear my heart on my sleeve, wholeheartedly say what I mean about something they disagree with. Oh, change. I didn't change, bro. Like, you disagree with me on that subject, but, like, I didn't change. Or, like, I get tired of yelling and screaming and being angry on every song, so I want to make a fun song, like Mandates or like whatever. Like, I make something that's just completely. I have a song called Chicken and Waffles that I'm like terrified to drop right now because people are like, yeah. I'm not literally terrified, but I just know like it ain't gonna get received the right way right now. And it's just that's what I'm saying is like as an artist, it's sometimes I'm like, man, why can't I just make the same shit every day, all the time? It's so easy, like but I'm like, I can't. I'm not a music business product.
Right.
I'm an artist, so I'm gonna yell and scream on some songs. I'm gonna freaking try to sing as best as I can on other songs. Like actually, I might do a song this Friday. The one if I drop a song Friday, which I'm gonna try super hard to do. Uh, um, I kind of like sung on it, so fingers crossed. I don't nobody's ears hurt.
Well, there is a question. Jay
So,
asked. He says, "What advice would you give to someone just starting out rapping now?"
be yourself. Be yourself, and if you want like practical advice, like be yourself is kind of more like a to the heart advice. Like don't ever sell out or change like who you are to, don't go with gimmicks. Is what I mean by be yourself. Like, um, but if I give some, let's see here, some be consistent. Um, don't get hung up in what people are gonna say or think. Don't get hung up one way or the other on what people say or think. Like if someone says you suck, let that roll off your back. The same way though, if someone says you're God, which if anyone says you're God, run because that you don't like that's crazy. But like if someone really it's just like, don't let that get to your head either. Like keep an even balance of, because if, like, the saying says, if you live for people's, approval, you'll die from, whatever the hell it is, or disapproval, basically. You'll die from their rejection. So, trying to think. I've gotten this question a couple of times, and I guess because music's always, and I don't mean to sound like whatever, but it's always been so like natural, like just a way of life, that I don't really think about the practical steps of it. I'm trying to think of those though, to actually give like good tips, because I've gotten this question a couple times now, and I never feel like I give a great helpful answer. I don't know if what I just said is helpful, but yeah, just be yourself, stay consistent, and not in your sound. Like I was just saying, if you're an artist and you're all over the place and you want, that's fine, but stay consistent. I would say with like your releases and stuff like that. Cherish every single fan, which I don't even like using that word, but like fan, like genuinely do the best you can to honestly appreciate that, because that shit, they people don't owe you anything. They don't owe you their time. They don't owe you their money. They don't owe you any of that. So when they give you that, appreciate it. Um, yeah, that's. I wish I had more practical advice, but it's like, I feel like for me, it's like I said, music's just something I do, so I don't really think. I just kind of get in the zone and go. I don't have a lot of like great tips when it comes to like the writing I don't know. I wish I had. So I literally just came across a YouTube video like a couple days ago, and it's literally a rap. It's a channel called How to Rap. I'm not even joking. It's a YouTube channel. It's got like 500,000 subs. I laughed so hard. I honestly clicked on it. I will shamelessly say I clicked on it because I was like, I'll bite. It said like how to write great punchlines or something, and I was like, I'll bite. I don't care. I'm like, whatever. I go to the gym now all the time, and like I when I don't know how to do a workout, I freaking click. I don't give a shit. I'm not like the guy. I'm sitting there like, is this you fucking game the shit? I don't even care. So, hey, there's a lot of, that's some advice I say too, is like, there's probably a YouTube video to help you learn how to write hooks, how to beat selection, all that stuff. So that's the beauty of the internet right now.
Well, by the way, I was going to say this. Seeing my mom in the chat reminded me. Next time you're in Houston, I want to meet. I'd love to meet you if you have time. Not at a
Okay.
wedding, obviously, because that's kind of weird. But
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah, I
crash
got
the
an
wedding.
accident. I was in such a freaking hurry that day. Oh my gosh. I was like zipping all over the place, and like got a freaking accident at a gas station. Like this little stupid,
Oh,
but it's like cars are made of freaking plastic now. So I barely tapped this other car, and it put like a hole in the bumper, and I was just like, but
check.
yeah, I'm down. Like, we can stay in contact, and
Well, I mean, if you
I'm not down there very often. Just to be a heads up, I should be. My mom would. They all live down there now, so they would definitely prefer that I was down there more often. She busts my balls all the time. They're like working on the house right now. They just moved from where I'm from down there, and they're always doing something on the house. And I just recently got a truck, and I sent her a picture of it like 2 days ago because I didn't even tell her. And she's like, thanks, let me borrow it for like a year. It's just like, can't do that. I will not have a vehicle.
shout out to Ben Tomsky, tip $10. Says just stopping by to show love. God bless you both.
Hey, God bless you too. Thank you, Tom.
I mean
Appreciate it.
that's a good segue. There's a question I did want to ask you.
Cool.
Just curious. Obviously, I know you catch a lot of flack for your faith, and you are an unapologetic Christian, and
Yeah.
one of my favorite things that you've done is literally call out people who judge people based on their level of Christianity, etc., etc. Um,
Yeah.
when you first started, like with your music, were did you have God in your life then, or was it something that you've come into recently? I'm just curious, like about.
Yeah. Um. Well, so I started rapping when I was like in my teens, like
Right.
freestyling and all that shit. So, I was raised in a home where God was definitely, I went to CCD, like, which I don't even know what CCD stands for, but it was like, when I was a kid, I was a Catholic. We got raised Catholic. Like 110% of people on the like South Side area of Chicago are Catholic. So it's like, and I'm Italian, so it's like, forget about it, right? You're gonna be like, so. But it was like a class in school to me. Like that's all. Like when I was a kid, I went because you had to go, and it didn't really make sense. My faith didn't really take root. Well, I think that was a foundation thing to it. I definitely had like a foundation as a kid, but I definitely went off the path and got in a lot of trouble. Definitely am very grateful to be where I'm at, even like just alive, meaning like not even with my career and stuff, but just alive because I was I was crazy. Like, yeah, I mean, like sometimes I don't even remember. Like, think like I'll run into an old homie or something. They'll tell me a story, and I'm like, dude, I can't. Like, I forgot I even did that. Like, I'm that far removed from how I used to be. But when I was 19, that's when I like gave my life to Christ, and then it's just been a very long, rough, up and down, give and take battle because you know. Um, I don't know. I don't really know. I'm stubborn, I guess, and um, but I never really felt like even after I gave myself to Christ, the church that I went to the church my parents went to, and I never got very close to anyone at the church, uh, and it took a long time before I started really like warming up to people in the church, because I just felt like I couldn't connect. That's not a dig on the church or anybody that goes like, cause it was more my issue and my trust issue. I was a drug dealer. I didn't trust anybody. Like I didn't trust people at all. So, um, it took me a long time to shake those demons, like, cause I think now full circle, like to where I'm at right now, and I was just at church this morning. I think you need it. Like I said, I'm sitting right outside. My wife's in a Bible study with some of her friends. Like church is a the church is a family. Jesus, the church is a family, and if you don't, um, just like if you're like a lone wolf and you don't, like you said, your mother's in this chat right now. Like people who stray, like and try to do life alone. God bless you. Good luck. But you know what I'm saying? Like if you don't have family, and sometimes family isn't your blood. I'm not saying, but if you don't do life together with a core of people that love you and got your back, good luck. And as a Christian, in a world that is getting more and more and more, it seems like at least in a climate, we'll say maybe it'll turn around, but America used to be much more embracing of Jesus, and it seems that there's a shift in that, but which um, Jesus got put on a cross. I mean, his disciples, every single one of them was martyred for their faith, and there's Christians, believe it or not, the media will tell you otherwise, but Christians get murdered more than anyone else in this world because of their faith. And all around the world, you look around the world, that's a fact. That's an absolute 100% fact. Christians get murdered more than any other people group because of their faith. And that doesn't happen in America. And so we live in this kind of like, world, but it's a real thing around the world. And so, um, I'm sorry, I'm like kind of like went off the path there, but like my faith, it like church is a family to me, and once I learned that, and it took making some real good friends and what I call brothers and family now through the church. Um, it just, like you said, I'm unapologetic. It's because it's not my religion. You know what I'm saying? It's not like my belief system. It is literally my life. Like, it is who I am.
I was gonna say
You
it's
know,
who you are. Mm-hmm.
I'm a child of God, and I don't mean that in any disrespectful way to anyone or some sort of holier than thou way or some sort of like, whatever. I don't. It's just a fact. Just like I'm a child of my mother and my father, because of what Christ did, and because I didn't do shit to receive it. Or like to earn it, but because of Christ's sacrifice, we have the we have the gift and the choice to choose to be children of God, like to be adopted into the family of Christ, which is what the Bible verbatim says. We can be adopted into the sonship and daughters of Christ. So I'm a, um, I'm, I'm just grateful that God gave us an opportunity to be, um, kind of restored back to it. And for me, it's like I said, I I was saved at 19, and it's over 20 years ago, you know, and it's been a long ass journey, and I'm still nowhere near got all my shit together, So that's why when I see people, it bothers me when I see the church pushing people away from God. Um, and I think one of the biggest things that God has kind of put on my heart to be is a person that calls bullshit, but calls bullshit fairly. Because yes, the church does that for sure. Like there are pastors that are, you know that are very the way they preach or whatever pushes people away. There's Christians that act in certain ways that push people away, no doubt about it. But there's also a lot of people outside that are pointing fingers at the church and never stepped in there a day in their life. Or they had like, oh, I had a Christian boyfriend or girlfriend for 30 seconds and they cheated on me, so it's like whatever, they got this really weak excuse for why the church and Jesus and Christian are bad people. And I think God has kind of put me in like where I'm at and put that on my heart to be like a person who calls bullshit again, like I said, on both sides, because it's not about right or wrong. I say this all the time, and I'll say it till I'm dead. It's about life or death. Jesus came here to give everlasting life. That's why he had to die and raise from the dead, so he could give the proof. Because I've heard pastors say, the ones that I trust, that why would you put trust in a dead savior? What's the point of a dead savior? What's he saving you from? All these other religions, and this ain't throwing shade, but it's a fact. They all believe in a dead God. If you want to keep it a buck, like they don't believe in a risen savior. If Jesus Christ didn't raise from the dead, our faith is dead. It's pointless. It's futile. So it's about eternal life. And when you understand that, which it took me a long time to really understand, wrap my head around, then you understand the family part of it. Because just like I was born into a physical family with my mother, my brother, and my mother and father, and my brothers, and my sister, and all my, and that's a thing that you can't change. You can't change that. You can't unborn yourself. I can't change what I am. I am born again, and I am going to live. We all are going to live. Our soul is eternal. We're all going to live forever. But because of Christ, I'm going to be with the creator of life because he proved it. So I try to say that so like in a humble way, because it's like, again, it has nothing to do with anything I do. Religion is do, and Jesus is done. That's the difference. Religion is do this, do that, do this. I don't call my mother because there's a checklist that says you got to call your mother. I call my mother because I love her. I don't call, I don't do things that I do for my wife. Same thing. Like once you wrap your mind around what Jesus did for us and what God's done for us, gave us life, gave us breath, gave us another day, gave us the sky, like once you wrap your head around that, there's no other, you're like, yeah, thank you, God. I love you, God. Like, because it's not like, oh, check, now I did my religion thing today. So again, if somebody else doesn't have that, like they're not at that point in their life, I don't want to be the person that's standing in the way of that. So I get really frustrated when I see it happening, because if you make it about religion, you're doing what Jesus was against. Sorry, I don't know. That's a long-winded answer for that, but
No, it's a good answer, honestly.
It's a heavy subject. It's a real heavy subject. Sorry.
No, that's the thing, is that, and I knew that subject would potentially be heavy, but honestly, it's one of the things that draws me to watch your reels on Instagram, to jump in when you were doing all of the things on YouTube where you were going live like consistently. I couldn't stay long.
And I gotta do that. Again, I am tripping. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I know I'm tripping.
I'm just saying, it's like, that's what drew me into watching you and to jumping in on those. I couldn't stay long, but I always tried to show up at least for a couple minutes.
Amen.
Because it's the way you say it is very welcoming, and it encompasses everybody. It doesn't, like, you don't ever push people away, which is appreciated by people who, like me, haven't lived my life perfectly. We'll just leave it at that. And if somebody were to discourage me in a moment where I'm just curious, and they're like, well, you're not good enough at this exact moment, therefore just, forget it.
Yeah.
I would run the other way and be like, well, I'm screwed anyway, and I don't like when people do that. Honestly.
No, amen. Let me see. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Let me.
Yeah, do
Let me see something. I'm gonna turn this light up.
I'm shining like I'm like, ah, and he's like in the dark now. Like, look. Is that better or worse? I feel like
What?
I feel like an optometrist. I turned my light. I was trying to see if that was better or worse.
Oh, you're good. I turned the light on out here because I noticed it was getting dark, and that beautiful sky is now almost black. So
I feel like I'm in a spotlight. Like, my goodness, it's like,
yeah.
Like, what is happening?
You're good. I mean, yeah.
I just got a new ring light, and I don't know how to use it, so I'm just like hoping it doesn't.
I think it's a motion light. I gotta like move around, turn it off all the time.
Well, shout out to Champagne Rain. She donated $20. I appreciate you for that. But go ahead. Champagne Rain. She's a good friend of the channel.
Champagne Rain, shout out. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. But yeah, I don't know. So here, you know what's funny? My whole life, ever since I was saved, like, and gave my life to Christ, I rap. Like I said, I rapped before. But after I gave my life to Christ, I honestly thought, like, okay, should I quit? Like, I thought I was, like, I mean, my whole life changed. Like, it was a crazy change and all. And I wasn't sure if I was going to keep rapping. And that's, a whole nother story. But, like, eventually, and I didn't feel like God was saying to quit. But I was trying so hard. Now, this is before social media, before, all that shit. So there wasn't a place to put your music on. There wasn't the internet. There was the internet. But there wasn't, like, all this shit that you can just put your music on. YouTube, all that was not a thing yet. So if you wanted to get in the music game, you get a record deal. Like, this is it. I guess independent shit did exist. There were a couple indies or whatever. But the bottom line is, my dream, I'm like, I can make it. And it went from before I was a follower of Christ, before I gave my life, it was like, it's funny because the independent thing would have been fine for me. I didn't care because it wasn't that it was just a hustle, but I was a hustler. I was involved in a lot. So my mind, I loved rap, but at the same time, I would have handled it much differently. And I probably would have been fine being like some underground rapper that sells, a couple 100,000 units. Because back then you could have did that, because again, that'd be a different back then, because that was when people were selling, 10 million records and stuff, and because people bought music and instead of streaming. So, you know, I knew some people. I knew Twista from Chicago. I knew somebody's like, he was not underground at this point, but like all his circle was still pretty underground. I knew a lot of those people, so I was like, whatever, I just had a very different approach. And after I found Christ, my mind, I just was like, yo, I just want to make some money and take care of me and my family. That was kind of the way I looked at it. But once God changed my life, I'm like, yo, I got this like gift. I can do this. I got to get to the top so I could tell everybody about what happened to me and change. Like, that was the whole goal. And when I tell you, I ran through every single brick wall, pun intended, like behind you. Like, I ran through everything in my way trying to get to the top. Like, I'm buying courtside tickets next to Jay-Z so I can rap for him. I mean, I'm literally doing everything outside the box, inside the box, above the box, below, anything you can imagine to get in the game. And it's like, every time I was this close, the floor would get pulled out from me. It just every damn time. And for the life of me, I just could not figure it out. And then finally, it kind of, God will let you get to the end of yourself, and that's what happened. Is I finally just, God had to like sit me down, and I got like, what the hell, and eventually it, like, God basically was like, music is your God. Like, that's kind of what he was like, it's your idol. Like, you've made this more important, than me. And I was like, okay. So I thought I changed that, and I started doing like Christian rap, which I didn't start doing Christian rap like purposely. I started taking my faith serious, because like I said, I didn't plug into the church, so I was just like lone wolf Christian, just out in the world. So, but I would go to church religiously every single Sunday. Most of the time, there's like usually two services, like a 9 o'clock and 11. I would go to both. I mean, I'm taking notes. I went, but it wasn't really changing my life, because it's like, you could stand in a garage and it don't make you a car. Like, I was there, but like, I wasn't. It wasn't changing my life. It was like life support. Like, it was just like, it kept me from going back to who I used to be, I guess you could say. But that was it. And music, it was music. Matter of fact, like, I even remember when I went out to New York one time trying to get like, I was out there to meet with some major labels and stuff. And like, that was actually, I was going to meet with Jay-Z, Russell Simmons, and L.A. Reid all in the same day. And then the guy that connected me with that, again, like I said, all the freaking, like, every damn time, like the night before, no bullshit. We've been playing for months, like 6 months. The night before, she's like, yeah, you're not coming. And I'm like, the fuck I'm not. Like, you're crazy as hell, I'm not coming. And so I drove to New York and showed up at the hotel, and we got in this huge fight and whatever. And so then I was just like driving around aimlessly in New York, because I'm in New York, and with my homie that just came out, because he was just like, all right. So like, so I stopped at a gas station, and there was a Christian there, and I'll never forget. He said, now I'm saved. I'm supposed to be born again, love Jesus, go tell everybody in the world about Jesus. And this dude comes up to me. I'm in my $500-$600 Coogee sweater. I'm in my brand new Jeep Cherokee. I'm big, I think I'm the shit. I got my nice gold watch. And he says, because like I said, I did shit. I was a drug dealer. I did all, so like, that shit still came with me, because I went to church, but it wasn't changing me, because I was just going because it was a religion. Like, it was just like, I gave my life to God, but I didn't understand, what it really was, And so anyways, this kid comes up to me, he says, what he said, "Do you know who God is?" And I was so arrogant. I was just like, "Yeah, what?" I'm like, dude, like I almost looked at him like, "Get away!" And then he said, um, "Oh, so what's the point of life?" You know? And I said to him, I said, "Get money, no bullshit, hand to God." That's what I said to him. I said, "Get money." A Christian. I'm a man of God, right? That's a Christian. That get money. That was my response. So that shows you how far off I was going because music was still my idol. You know, like and and sorry, I'm not gonna touch anything because the last time I did this and I was in an interview, it disconnected. But I have a phone call coming in. I'm just gonna let it go to. I don't want to hit anything because last time I hit something and it like ended the interview.
That's fine.
You're still there, right?
No, I'm still here. I mean,
Okay,
we can hear you, so.
cool.
You're just
Okay,
neon orange.
so it just I'll never forget that. But
You're back.
you know, he hello. Um, it was like God had to really get a hold of me and show me like, yo, yeah, you sort of gave your life to me or whatever, but like you're not, you're still missing it. You're missing it, and that's when I got plugged into some churches out in Cali. God kind of had a lot of times I've noticed this like sometimes you need a change of perspective. You need like a change of surrounding. You need a change, like and that's God just ripped me right out of. I had basically never been to California. I went there like once, but he was like, "You're going west, kid," and like I just hopped in my car like with all my shit, like basically had nowhere to go, and uh, this new guy, I knew God was telling me go, so I went, and like that's when it really became real, like, and I got pretty plugged into some churches out there, and it became family because they took care of me. I didn't even have a place that they were like, "We got you. You need food, we got you." Like it was like and that's when it really started to grow in me. And again, being an artist, like we were talking about earlier, my art started to reflect that. So it was like I started writing all these Christian songs, like I wrote like 30, 40 of them, and like, but then I never really put any of them out because I started feeling like, "Ah, this is like going over my head. Oh, not my head, but over my friend's head." And like, I wanna tell them about God, but like, I'm so God. Like, they're not. It's gonna like, and I don't know. It took me a long time to morph into the artist I am today because it was like, it took me growing as a person to then get to this thing Mesus has become, because now that's what it is. I want people to see that Jesus in me, and and um at the same time as they see that, I also want them to see me as like, yo, I'm still flawed. I'm still trying to I'm still my pastor always says flesh this thing out, like I'm still trying to flesh this thing out. Like I'm still trying to, and my goal is to grow. Like I was saying that in my last live I just did. There's a part of me that's always been like, "Ugh," like I don't want to like change and become like super whatever, like godly, like or whatever. But it's like, because I worry about the people, like you said, the people who 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 might not be able to relate to me because I'm so far this, but God's kind of giving me peace about that too, because and like you're not the only person in the world that knows me. Like I got that. You just keep growing, and so I've gotten a comfort with that now, where it's like, all right, like I gotta grow, and hopefully whoever's with me for the journey, wherever they're at. But one thing I always want to do, like you said, is I don't. No matter where they're at, I just hope I don't ever make somebody feel
Discouraged?
unloved.
Yeah.
Unloved really is the word. Like yeah, discouraged for sure, but rejected. Like I don't want to make, because it's I definitely am not any better than anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, nobody is, but I'm just gonna speak for myself. Like, I know for a fact that I am not any better than anybody else, and left alone to my own, I'm a product of my mother's prayers. Like, if my mom did not pray for me the way she prayed for me, I genuinely believe, that I would not be here today. Uh, I don't know where I'd be. Could very likely be dead. But I probably wouldn't be anywhere good, even if I was a famous rapper with hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't think that that would be good, because you can have all that shit, all the fame, all the money, but if you don't know the Lord, you're that's like the verse says, like, you gain what good does it do to gain the whole world but lose your soul? Like, at the end of the day, yeah, that's fun. And I'm not saying every single person who's got hundreds of $1 million and fame and all that doesn't know the Lord. I'm not saying that. Like, shout out to him. Hopefully that verse was from the heart. I seen a couple comments. People say, "Oh, look, you really think he means that? He's just, And I'm thinking to myself, they're like, "Oh, he's just doing that to get attention or like get like I'm just thinking, like, in what world do you live in where you think talking about Jesus is gonna make you like cooler? Like, what are you talking about? Like, people that like Eminem is taking an L by doing that, and he knows that, and so no, like, and I actually had a guy hit me up through an email like months ago, and it was a very strange email, very polite, very good guy, but like strange, like from the like he said he was like in the mafia, and he went to prison for like 16 years, and he wrote books and blah blah blah. But he knows Eminem. He's like, I know Eminem. He's a Christian, and this is before any of this song came out. And so I think personally uh, does have a relationship with God, does believe in Jesus, but he is in an industry where I do think he sold his soul. Uh, he's openly admitted it more times than I can count. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to I mean, people say, "Oh, it's just art. It's just art." It's like, it's art maybe if you say it once, like as a metaphor. It's not art if you admit it like 15 different times and like 15 different. Like, the dude definitely made some kind of a pact or agreement or deal or something to get where he's at. Like, that's just the bottom line. Like, he's extremely talented. Yes, he's extremely marketable. Cool, all that, but
Baby, what's the Bible on Tuesday?
BSF. Bible Study Fellowship. Sorry. Uh, so he's I mean, he's done that, and if you ask me, I think he's in a position where he knows if he pushes that envelope, people, either himself, which he's too valuable, so he won't, but people that he loves and cares about will probably pay the price for it. That's the way that industry really operates. It's really a satanic industry at the heart of it. There's really a devil. There's really evil. And it's funny. People are like, no, that's crazy. You're talking goofy conspiracy stuff. But it's like, if I said, do you believe in the mafia? People would be like, yeah, of course I do. And it's like, so you believe the mafia would operate like that? The mafia has been known to be involved in the music industry forever. Like, but you don't think that they would do that? Like, you don't think that they would, like, say, listen, you made a deal? They'll do that just over, like, you made a deal, like, over money. The mafia and the way they operate. You don't think people that are even eviler, who have no interest in money because they can't be bought, because they have so much money that it's about power and control and just playing a game with people? Like, I think that's the position Eminem's in. I think that's the position a lot of artists in. I think Chris Brown is in that position. He's made many tweets about hating how the devil controls his life, and Kanye. I think Kanye is another one. Bieber. Like, a lot of these people are trapped. And like I said, I think, had I not gone the path I went, I was about to meet with Jay-Z, about to meet with Russ. I mean, I had record deal meetings with these people set up. Like, if left to my own accord, and my mother not praying for me, I probably would have ended up going down that path if I lived long enough, because of the lifestyle I was living off the mic. Um, and yeah, great. Maybe I'd be at a platform of Eminem, a level of Eminem or Kanye or Jay or one of these guys. Cool. I feel sorry for them because they're trapped. They're slaves at minimum. They're slaves to an industry that they're trapped in. Like they can't really live their life.
My mom says
From
a
the,
perfect example is Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra, absolutely. Yep. He was surrounded by the mafia all the time.
Nah, he was controlled by everybody. But I was gonna say, by the way, shout out Darnell. He says thanks for this interview. Love it. Appreciate you for the
Amen.
dono.
Thank you.
And there's been questions. I'm not trying to get off subject because I'm absolutely
Yeah.
I'm enraptured.
Fire
I'm
away.
just like,
But no,
I'm literally
fire
like,
away.
okay. There's been questions throughout, so I'm gonna run through a couple of them. The first one, a little bit further back, and I believe it was from Darnell, was asking more along the lines of who would, and there's a two-part question. The first part is, who's like an artist that you would want to drop a track with if it was anybody? And then he also asked the second part, I'm putting them together, Darnell, is which Christian artist would you want to do a track with? Andy Mineo, maybe 2 Italians on a track would be crazy, he says.
Shout out to me. So I was this close to meeting him not even that long ago in Miami, and it didn't happen. But yeah, I don't know if so. I don't want to say Minio is a liberal, and I don't want to, whatever. But I think he might be. I don't think he would like me, to be honest. I think he'd love me because we're family in a way, and I think we have way more in common than we don't, and I hope we could get past that. And I would absolutely love to work with him, no question about it. I've been rocking with him since he popped on the scene, since like his very first music started bubbling. So I've been rocking with him, but I don't know. Hopefully, the last couple of years of I don't know, because I'm not a very political guy. I'm really not. People think I am, but I'm really not. I'm trying to call out some very clear concerns and alarming things that I saw. Maybe I have blind spots. I'm always open to hearing about that. So, but I've heard him say Trump's the Antichrist, stuff like that and things like that. Where I don't know if he literally said that, but so it makes me feel like, well, I don't know, you think that Biden's doing a great job or what? I don't know, So, but anyways, my point is, I don't know if he would want to work with me. I'd be down for sure though, if we could make that happen. But I think the number one Christian artist, which feels kind of weird even calling him a Christian artist, but he definitely is. But his music is, I think, he's just a Christian dude that raps. But and as you probably are aware of, I just think me and him have a lot more in common musically than even me and Minio. Minio's kind of like a Christian Kanye, which is kind of, I don't know, oxymoron, because I just got to say it. I think Kanye is a Christian too. I think he's just in this tug of war with the situation he's in, and I think he's got handlers, he's got people around, like you were saying, like Sinatra, and I just, I think he's in a world that's very hard to get out. I feel like a lot of artists like that are people. I know people that are in gangs, that I love dearly, and I try to talk to them sometimes, dude, and they just, you see light bulbs flick on for a minute or two, and then it's but then, if you don't remove yourself all the way away from that life, it'll eventually bring you back in. And I think they have so many people around them, because so many people have vested interest in it, whether it be, like I said, people who just manipulate because of power and they just want to control people with their influence, or you got most people, I have no clue what's going on, but they're just invested financially, they get a piece of the pie, so just do what we tell you to do, and don't let so and so go here. And make sure so and so says this, and you know, blah blah blah. But yeah, as an artist, if there was like an artist, and I'll just say artists that I don't know or that I couldn't personally reach. So like the artist that's like that, it would be probably Joyner. I think Joyner, which I mean I could probably get connected to him, but he's not in the circle of anyone that I like know or know by like one person type of thing. So Joyner would be cool as far as like just kind of I guess what you would say like non-Christian artists, and then NF as a Christian artist. But I definitely would love to work with Menio too.
I did see a comment earlier, and I'm gonna address it. I feel like it needs to be addressed. It just is what it is. I actually had to explain it to my 8-year-old on the car ride home today.
Oh,
Today is 9/11. Obviously,
yeah.
we're all aware. Jay did ask. He asked if you would be willing to say a prayer for 9/11 today. Um,
Yeah.
it's completely up to you, but I just shout out to anybody that is dealing with any of that. I mean, we all were.
Yeah.
I think most of us were there. You know, we
Yeah.
were alive at the time,
Absolutely.
and able to comprehend it. At least I'm 39, so I definitely
Mm-hmm.
was in my late
Yeah.
teens at that time.
Yep.
And you know, to the families, and it's just, you know, it started all of this catalyst of a waterfall, you know what I'm saying, like a domino effect of all of these things that affected our country and people, and going in the military, veterans, everything. So in no way, shape, or form am I downplaying that. I'm just saying, you know,
It,
I don't
regret
know what
not.
to say, because I'm not personally, I don't have family in the military now. I used to. I don't have,
Yeah.
I don't know people that are were over there at that time. I don't know anybody that it was in New York at that time. You see what I'm saying? So like, I'm not as affected as some, but I understand that people are.
My mother. So we used to live on the East Coast. We lived in Connecticut, and we lived uh, like an hour from New York City. And so my mother would take us there quite a bit, like to you know when we for the weekend, like on a Saturday, whatever. Like I said, it wasn't that far. It's like an hour or so. You know, there's so much to do in New York. Such a huge city. You know, you know, my mom would try to get us to go there once in a while to like, you know, go see the Statue of Liberty or go something, go to those things. So we were literally just talking about that actually in the group before we started this, because my mother worked with someone who we had since moved to Illinois. We were living in Illinois when that happened, but um, he was in a building that was so close to it that it shook his building when it happened. So, and you know, I remember being a kid, being on those, like looking off with the binoculars and stuff. I mean, I remember, and we have pictures of it. And yeah, I remember when it happened, and it was definitely like we went back. I actually went back um, about a month after, and saw the hole in the ground, the like 4 square block or 2 square. I think it was like 4 city block square hole. Like I mean, it's just it was something that you couldn't even imagine seeing. You know, it was just it was, and being a kid and standing right there, you know, 10 years before that type of thing, and looking up at, I mean, it'd be like now if the same thing happened in Chicago where the Sears Tower is or something like, or somewhere else that I've just been 1,000 times. You know, it's just so it was very surreal when it happened, and when it second one hit, that's when I knew like, oh shit, like this is not just some crazy accident. This is a fucking we're like something crazy happening, you know, and then you know, like they said, the Pentagon, and you know, it was that I remember that, and then everybody was worried about anthrax forever, you know, like the people getting. I mean, it was a very weird time. It was also when I stopped trusting the news because it was kind of an unconscious thing, but I just remember it being months after month, not days, not weeks, months after. And it felt like that's all they kept talking about. All they kept talking. All they kept talking. Now, and they kept showing, kept showing, kept showing, kept showing. You know what I mean? Like kept. And I was just like, why are they doing that? You know what I mean? Like why are they dwelling on it? Just I saw it. I couldn't put my head around it, but it made me. I felt I didn't like the way I felt about it and now I understand. It's like they work off of fear. It's like I said in news, my song news. Like it's a fear and drama and all. I mean, it's ratings and all this other stuff. And they was selling. It was the hot ticket. Ooh, this is in, and it's sick. It's sick that's why they're. I know that's why people say, oh, they're trying to honor. No, you're not. You're not trying to honor these people anymore. That was all ratings driven. That was all to drive fear into people, to keep people terrified, to continue to keep people shook and wondering, to drive in all the new laws that they put in and implemented because of that shit and everything. I mean, it's all, like I said, I don't trust fucking news at all. And I wear my defund the media hoodie a lot when I go to the gym, and every time I wear it, somebody's just, without fail, there's at least one person who's like, I agree 100%. They need to get the fuck out of this country. And it's like, I hate the news. Like, I wish that was taken off the air. Every single station. I'm not just like, oh, just take them fucking all off. We'll figure it out. You know what I mean? We'll figure it. We don't need you guys. You know?
I'll say shout out to when the news journalism was actually a thing. When journalists they risked their lives, and all they cared about was the truth. They would go at people, like they'd go try to find out about people doing bad things, and then they would get in trouble. They'd get killed. All this stuff. They'd go to war zones to try and to get the real story. Things like that. That's when they had integrity. But now it's not about that anymore, and it's a proven fact that negativity, drama, anything that makes you mad takes more time, because it takes more energy to be pissed off than it does to be happy. It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile, and it keeps you invested, because when you're mad, you're like, oh, and you've got that negative adrenaline running. You go looking for things to back you up because you're ticked off. Like you want validation for your feelings or how you're feeling. And people will watch things because for some reason it's now common. People enjoy being riled up in a negative way. And they found if they can just piss you off a little bit, if they can push, the algorithms work where it brings you the content that you tend to watch. So you put on my feed a video I like, a video like, a video like, and then something that is like against everything I believe in. And I'm like, what the hell? Right? I'm mad. Like, what the hell? And then now I'm invested. Like, what the hell is this doing here? What are the comments saying? It's all a thing. And the news is 100% guilty of that. There's no integrity. I don't trust them one bit. I don't watch the news. I don't watch TV. I don't listen to the radio. I'm kind of closed off, but trust my mom. She watches.
Yeah, and you're probably, and you know what? You're definitely better for it. So.
Yeah, I just feel like people, they do it on purpose in order to increase viewership and ratings. Unfortunately, tragedy sells, shock value sells, carnage sells, and people get scared and they keep watching to try and find out, well, what next?
Right.
It's sad.
Absolutely.
It's sad.
Well, I'll close with like a prayer, like in a minute. But like, if there was, you said was there any other questions that you said? There was some more. You said.
Let me look here.
But I will say, like you said, a prayer before we finish. But if you any other questions, I don't want people to not get their questions.
I'm reading back through a little bit.
Cool.
Have you ever watched any of those videos of people describing what they saw when they died?
A couple. I would recommend go watch it to anyone who's interested in something like that. Watch or read the book. But 90 Minutes in Heaven by Don Piper.
I've heard of that.
there's a movie which is I haven't watched the whole movie, but I met the guy in person. He came and spoke at a church. His story is insane. If you go or just YouTube him, I'm sure he's got like his testimony on YouTube or something. Don Piper, 90 Minutes in Heaven. It's one of the craziest. It's pretty much like I don't know how you can refute God being real, and after watching his story, it's pretty insane. Um, that's about the only one that I've watched.
I'm going to shout out a comment I just read into from Willie K. I don't know if he's still in here right now, but he did say, Kat, thank you for doing these podcasts. It helps add a real person side to those we look up to. Mesus, thank you for being you. And thank you for your gift of music that you share with the world.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. It's like, I appreciate that people, that there's still people that appreciate like genuine like music, and genuine people, I guess.
No, absolutely. I don't see anything else that I've missed. And if I did, I'm sorry. You guys can post them in the comments, and most definitely I'll read through there again. I'll read through there later. And if there's anything like impending, I'll pass it forward.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, hey, I'm going to just say a quick prayer and then we'll close up. Father God, just want to say thank you for this opportunity to just hang out and talk about life. And God, I just ask today with a lot of people, today is a day to remember something very, very terrible that happened in our nation. And they probably have very heavy hearts even 21 years later. So, God, I just ask that you be with those families. There's over 5,000 people, if I'm not mistaken, that passed away that day. Hundreds of thousands probably since in war. So, God, I just pray. I don't think there's anybody that wasn't impacted in one way or the other that day. So just help people, comfort them, give them peace that passes all understanding, and help them comfort each other, be around each other. And I thank you for the sacrifices that people made because of that day and even on that day. And we thank you that we live in a country that's as free as it is in spite of so many attacks and so many things that happen. Thank you for this group and this time. And I just ask you bless everyone that's in this conversation, in this chat, and just watch over our families, keep us safe. Ask this in your Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I appreciate you doing that for us. I really do.
Yeah.
And I can't thank you enough for taking the time to sit and just talk with me and just get to know you a little bit better.
Amen. Yeah, no, it's like I said, I enjoy the opportunity to do it. It's fun, and make it happen again sometime.
No, not a problem. And definitely, you guys tune in tomorrow. He's got the remix dropping. You don't want to miss that. And on top of that, he's going to be putting out content every week. So make sure you tune in. His channel is posted at the top. Oh, I'm looking at my screen. Where is it? Well, wherever it is. Over there at the top in the pinned comments. And definitely drop a comment, drop a like. We appreciate you.
Amen.
And thank you again. Thank you for taking the time. And I think we're good.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I had a great time.
All right, me too. I'll see you guys later.